Sup bros, today we're going to review a long-range utility electric bike with a payload capacity of 450 pounds. It's got dual batteries and a 1000 watt geared hub motor on the rear, step-through frame, and you can attach accessories to it. MSRP is $14.99, but it is on sale in the link below this video. It's called the Euybike W1, and today we're going to review it. And here's what it looks like when you get out of the box. This one is blue, but regardless of which color you choose, you get these 20x4 single piece construction, low maintenance wheels. And of course, you get knobby tread on those tires. The brand is CST. We've got disc brakes with 180 millimeter rotors. And I chose blue because I like blue, but there is one other color option in the link below this video. It's got a step-through style frame, making it easier to get on and off this bike, and some kind of cool looking graphics here on the side, as well as on the back here. And this is what we call a utility style e-bike. So this rear rack is actually part of the frame, not just attached onto the frame. And what that does is give it a higher weight capacity. So you can attach a seat on here. There are various attachments you can put on this bike, link below the video in the description. Around back, we can see we are rolling on another 180 millimeter disc brake, and they are hydraulic brakes. These are Logan hydraulic brakes. And the 1000 watt geared hub motor is back here in the wheel. The numbers and stampings on the side reveal is a 48 volt system, and we'll take a look at those gears in a minute. But first, let's check out the powertrain. So it is a dual battery e-bike. Battery number 1 of 2 is a 48 volt 30 amp hour battery pack. The model indicates it has LG cells. Max charge is 54.6. So that would be 1,440 watt hours of energy in that one. And you also have another slightly different styling on this one. Same thing on both sides. Got a switch. And this one is also a 48 volt battery with 30 amp hours. It says Samsung cells. So the second one will basically double our watt hours. Of course, running both batteries is gonna probably about double your weight. 14.2 pounds on that battery. And let's throw the other one on there too. 30.4 pounds total. 16.2 pounds on the main one. If you're wondering why there's a weight discrepancy, it's probably just due to the shells that the batteries are packed in. So I think the website said 110 miles on throttle only, or 160 miles with pedal assist, but those are probably both pretty optimistic numbers. You'd have to be going pretty darn slow to actually hit that, but we'll see how much battery I have left after our 20-mile ride here in a few. So no suspension on the back of this utility bike, which is typical, but they do give us this little suspension thing. Wait, is that even suspension? No suspension on the back of this one. That's just to cushion if you drop your seat. However, you could put a suspension seat post on the back of this if you want. So no suspension on the rear, but we do get a dual crown fork on front. So a little bit of suspension there. Nothing to write home about. No adjustments on it or anything like that. Handlebars have a nice rise, and they sweep back towards the rider, making for a comfortable riding position. Grips are ergonomic, some basic rubber grips. Here's your controls, display, 7 speeds on the Shimano shifter. On the right, we get a quarter twist throttle on our ergonomic grip. There's a horn, and Logan hydraulic brake levers. Oops, almost forgot to show you the seat. It is pretty soft, got a bit of shape to it. It's got the, so you can get the battery in there. It's got a box of goodies with a user manual. Items in that box are a headlight, mounting hardware, tools, some metal pedals, a plastic fender, and a 2 amp charger to charge our batteries. So we're looking at some pretty serious charge times on these. Since each one is 30 amp hours, it would take 15 hours to charge each one of these with that charger. So if both of your batteries was dead, it would actually take 30 hours to charge these things from empty to full. You might want to consider grabbing a second charger. This one has open style dropouts, hydraulic brake up front, and it was a bit tedious, but we did get the headlight on and fenders on. Taking a look at the other side, we can see there are 7 gears on a Shimano cassette, and a basic Shimano Tourney TZ derailleur to change your gears. There's a derailleur guard to protect all that in case you knock the bike over. Here is the chain ring. Let's drop that battery on. And also the other battery. And this is the M58 display. Let's fire it up. So we get a color display. So we get battery readout here on top, miles per hour, pedal assist, odometer. There are 5 levels of pedal assist. You can also look at the trip, voltage of the batteries, time, average speed, max speed. Let's hold down plus and minus and check the advanced settings. So cryptic stuff. Should tell you how to operate all that stuff in here for the advanced settings. Throttle is on the right as well as the horn. Pretty loud horn, which is built into the headlight, which has this halo display. If you hold the up button, hopefully it doesn't launch at me. Yeah, that turned on the light. The minus button would cause it to launch forward though. We also get a light on the rear. Pulling the brake lever lights it up just a bit more. Turning off the light and then grabbing the brake lever makes it a little more obvious. So let's throw it on pedal assist 5, see what it'll do. Solid. So with no load on the motor, it'll top out at 33, 34 on the stock settings. And I can feel there's a little bit of weight on that thing with dual batteries. So we'll get it out for a rip in a few. But let me just show you the size of this thing. I am 6'5", inseam 34, so it does have the step-through frame. When you put this battery on there, it does kind of make the step-through a little higher, but still step-through frame. Seat is on the minimum. So here's what I look like hopping aboard this bike on minimum seat height. It's got a relatively compact cockpit. Handlebars definitely come back, make for a nice, easy reach, upright riding position. I can see this bike being definitely good for a shorter rider. No adjustments on that. Let's throw the seat on max height. Pretty darn long seat post on this, so the seat can come up real high. So here's what I'm looking like with the seat on max height. All right, dudes, let's check out the Euybike W1 cargo bike. So we'll check our official range on these dual batteries. Let's fire this thing up and get on out. So hopping aboard the W1, first thing I am noticing is the pedal assist system has like the tiered approach where I can just crank this thing all the way. It'll hold me at 11 miles an hour on pedal assist 1. So it doesn't matter whether we're doing throttle or turning the pedals on pedal assist 1, it'll take us up to 11 miles per hour because it is a cadence sensor. We can bump that onto pedal assist 2. That'll take us to the next speed tier. We got the Speedster out here chilling. We'll check out the pedal assist modes in a minute, but let's try the 20% grade. So let's give it a rip up the 20% grade. I weigh 200 pounds. We'll throw this thing on pedal assist 5 and see what kind of hill climbing ability and torque it has on its own. Full throttle ready, go. So off the line, pulling us up. Now we do have dual batteries, so it adds a little bit of weight, but regardless, pulling us up, throttle only, no pedaling. So I'd say a sufficient amount of torque for an electric bicycle. Obviously you could pedal it, help get up the hill a little faster if you want. So as I was saying on the pedal assist systems, it doesn't matter if you're pedaling or not, you can use a throttle. Pedal assist 2 will bring you up to about 16 miles an hour. And we have the 7 gears over here. Cruising along here, I am noticing the cockpit is kind of like on the more short, compact side. Like the handlebars come pretty close, so you don't really need to reach out and stretch out. This could fit a short individual as well as a tall individual. With the seat on maximum height, I don't quite get the full pedal stroke, but you know, I'm comfortable pedaling this thing in like a chill position. Let's try pedal assist 3. So that ramps on the power just a bit. No power meter on there, but the cadence sensor, we're on gear number 7 now, and about 22 miles an hour is all the faster I would want to be pedaling this thing. So there's a short lag between when you start pedaling and when the power kicks on. Not necessarily a bad thing at all. It's kind of like a safety measure so you don't accidentally, you know, jump kickstart power when you don't want it. So on pedal assist 3 here, if I just start pedaling, power. So that was like a solid like 2 or 3 seconds before it kicked on, but you always have instant access to the power with the throttle, boom. So that might help you extend the range a little bit, making you work for it just a little bit with the cadence sensor. So some of these bikes will run a torque sensor. A cadence sensor is kind of like the contrasted torque sensor. Cadence sensor, all you gotta do is just rotate your legs. You don't have to press any power on the pedals at all. It'll just give you like a set level of power. Pedal assist 3 takes us to about 22. So these ones are basically the pedal assist system works independent from the power delivery. Kind of like a easier ride, not kind of like your Lance Armstrong exercise intuitive feeling torque sensor kind of ride. First impression of this thing, it's like a simple cargo bike. You get big battery, big range, and useful utility on this one. Not like a whole lot of super premium things here, but it does have premium LG or Samsung battery cells in the battery, which is a pretty darn important thing to have on an electric bike. I am noticing the screen is a little bit hard to see here with my polarized shades on or off actually, and the bright sun out here. Like I can see it, but it's not like the brightest display I've ever seen. So taking it off in the bushes per usual. We do have that front suspension, so it helps ease a lot of the bumps, on the front end of the bike. Now the rear end of the bike does not have any suspension. Any cargo on the back is going to be feeling all the bumps. Unless you drop the PSI on these big fat tires down, that'll help eat some of the bumps and stuff. But you don't want to drop it too low at the risk of a bench flat. It feels fine riding it off-road for a little utility riding. Let's throw it on pedal assist 4. And 4 is basically enough to keep up with traffic at this point in the slow lane, but 4 takes us up to around 24, and then 5 going into headwind here, showing 31 on board, 28. So let's take a look at the 0 to 20 time with the 200-pound rider. Pedal assist 5, full throttle, ready, go. So pretty easy on the acceleration. 10 is strong, 15, and 20. I don't know how much faster you really need to go on a utility cargo style e-bike. I wonder if it'll be strong enough for the sand though. We'll find out in a minute. All right, let's do a top speed run with a little bit of a tailwind, see what this thing can do at its absolute max top speed. Doing throttle only for now. Actually, I'm gonna rotate the pedal, see if I can keep up. Yeah, you can at 25. It's 27 on board, 30 on the onboard. And you could maybe keep up pedaling at about 30. It will take you beyond 28 according to my GPS. Shows 32 on the onboard and 29, 30. So with a bit of tailwind, the motor, it'll keep going, bro. But a 48-volt system, ultimately, this is where we're gonna top out with this controller, 30 miles an hour. Truthfully, all the faster anybody really needs to be going on electric bikes. And with these big batteries, we should get some pretty big range and effortless riding. We'll see where we end up on range here in a few. So getting out here for a cruise, largely how I'm feeling about this one is this is just, it's kind of like a exercise is optional kind of electric bike. You know, huge batteries, you're gonna be able to go for like an effortless ride for a long distance. You're gonna be able to carry some weight, that extra battery, you know, even if you don't wanna go like longer distance, the extra battery, if you have extra load, little extra battery doesn't help to tow all the extra weight. And I like the amount of battery on this one. So it's got the dual battery setup. You don't have to ride with both batteries. You could pop one off if you want a little bit less weight. You're just going for a shorter ride. Weight is mounted low in the center on that one behind the seat. And a total of 48 volts, 60 amp hours. That's, you know, pretty good size set of batteries. Gives you like, you know, a lot of range, and also you still get some nimbleness. Like the bike's not like excessively heavy. Some of these ones with like insanely huge batteries, they just get to the point where, you know, they just feel very motorcycle-y, and pedaling them doesn't, you know, do anything, and they can feel like a lot to manage once the weight gets so much. This one still feels like an electric bicycle. It's pushing the limits a little bit though, bro. And you do have the gears, so, you know, if you want to do some hill climbing or something, let's go ahead and just pop it off here and see how it'll do. Climbing the hill in the sand, it can do it. So the shorter wheels kind of give you more torque. No suspension on the rear. The seat is pretty soft actually, so ooh, I'm kind of bouncing off of it and stuff. You can always do the suspension seat post deal if you want, you know, off-roading. But largely, I would say keep this to maybe light trail riding and mostly on the streets, and just utilize the grip of those knobbies, man. So can it ride in the sand? I'm not really sure, but we're gonna do a little show and tell here and find out. We are losing speed, so I'm gonna drop it down to gear number 1. And yeah, this isn't really like a sand riding kind of bike, but we do have the throttle. We do have the 20 by 4 inch wide knobby tread tires, so if you want, you could, you know, get out here, hop off the bike, push it along, you know, use the throttle, you'll be good to go. And then once the sand starts getting a little bit more hard packed, you can probably hop on it here, waddle along. And as the sand becomes a lot more hard packed, kind of more like dirt, just fine, good to go, bro. Of course, you are gonna burn through your batteries a lot quicker doing stuff like this, but that's what it's all about, man, getting out here for an adventure. That's the whole point of getting an e-bike. The knobby tread on these tires does make you feel real planted and secure, you know, turning a little bit. So let's see how far we can make it up here. Sand's getting softer, 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 softer. We are going downhill a bit, and a little bump. If you keep pushing your motor too hard on this, you'll end up probably burning it up. So I wouldn't push it too hard on this one. This is the way to do it, bro. So this is more of a long range cargo bike than, you know, an extreme power cargo bike. Now I'm wondering, can it climb the California incline? So in general, with batteries, you can either use them for a long range or high power. Literally, the definition of power is energy divided by time. So you only get so many watt hours. I can tell this one's not cranking a ton of power. Like, it's sufficiently powerful, but we should end up pretty good on the range today. So, oh my goodness, this dude's about to cut us off. My God. So let's give it one more demonstration of power on the California incline, 85-foot climb, 12% grade. Hitting the spiral section here on pedal assist 5, full throttle. So we can stay on it full throttle and hold about 8 or 9 miles an hour here, be in pretty good control of it. Feels fine not pedaling this thing, pulling us up the spiral section and over the bridge. And throwing the back tire against the wall here. We're gonna climb the California grade from a complete stump. Ready, go! So pedal assist 5, full throttle. Oh, we got a cyclist coming in hot here. I'm gonna try and get over to the right. Usually that's us coming down the hill there. 13, 14 miles an hour, and you know, California incline, I often see cyclists just give up on this thing completely, trying to pedal a bike up here without a motor. So, you know, for a gradual incline, this thing will help you out a lot, especially if you got some cargo on the back. Pulling 20, according to the onboard, 18 here on my GPS, 19 on the GPS, reaching the top of the California incline. So this electric bicycle has Logan hydraulic disc brakes that is, with 180 millimeter rotors going down the California incline. We can get up to speed pretty good here, showing 31, and the motor's not cutting out, but hydraulic brakes on this do feel solid, and we'll give them a bit of a test here. Not even pulling them all the way. These are some pretty strong hydraulic brakes. I like these hydraulic brakes. No problem with the brakes whatsoever. They're fine, bro. Really what you want to avoid on these e-bikes is the mechanical disc brakes, I would say. Hydraulics are just superior. So let's give it a quick burst up the 20 and then slam on them. That's 20 and coast at 20. Brakes, yeah. Solid brakes, bro. All right, bros, we're gonna head on home, check the final range. I'll share my final thoughts along the way. So list price on this one, MSRP is $1,500 on sale in the link below this video. So if you do want to buy this bike and get the best price and also help support my review, click on that link down below the video before you buy it and use my coupon code at checkout. So in addition to the actual bike, this company, they do have accessories like a child seat, a rear rack, some pannier bag, there's some more stuff. Just check the link below the video to check all of the accessories for this bike. In general, it just feels like, you know, like a nice cargo bike with some big batteries, big range, good power at an affordable price. Really no exceptional bells and whistles on this one. You know, it's just kind of like your, you know, kind of everything you would want in a cargo style electric bike. Pretty good step through frame, a couple color options, quality cells on the battery, and you know, goes about 30 at throttle only, so exercise is optional. Mostly, you know, it's a little adventure machine, bro. So that's pretty much my final thoughts. Let's head on home, see where those batteries pan out. And I think most of my regular viewers know I typically just rip these bikes wide open throttle all the way home. But in case you're new here, that's how we do things, which isn't good for range. That dude's over there ripping on the sidewalk. This one's fast enough to be out here on the streets, dude. All right, bro, just wrapping up the typical tail happy circuit. Let's take a look at range. So we were out there, we did 18.3 miles. Average speed was 13.6, a little faster than typical. Hour, 20 minutes on the ride time. And we are showing 51 volts remaining on the battery. The little battery indicator up there showing all the bars full. That's not quite accurate, but 51 volts is 51.1 volts. What would that be? Right around 70%-ish on the battery remaining. So like I said, dual batteries, like you're gonna get some pretty darn good range out of these things. Now you can choose to use all that watt hours for high speed riding, you know, carrying a big load, or, you know, really maximizing your range to the manufacturer's claim, but you're gonna have to probably be going, you know, pedal assist 1, cruising about 5 miles an hour to get those huge 100+ mile ranges. Realistically, you know, you should probably get 50-60 miles out of these dual batteries riding it at a reasonable pace, carrying a reasonable load. So pretty cool cargo style electric bike. If you do want to grab one of these, use that link down below the video. Click on that, use my discount code. It would help support the channel and get you the best price. However, if this is not the kind of electric bicycle you're looking for, check this video out, dude. Catch you over there.